Thankfully, this is a radar indicated threat, not seeing that observed tornado on the ground just yet, but of course the atmosphere is extremely volatile. I am going to go ahead and clear off this box, and then we're going to go ahead and switch it over to the velocity mode so that you guys can see exactly what we're talking about here, with the potential for some rotation. Not really seeing anything there. I'll switch it over to the storm relative velocity mode. I just got a notification, JC. I don't see it on our screen, but I just got a tornado warning on my phone that says tornado warning in this area. So I'm just going to go ahead.
We do, and we do have that tornado warning. It's in place for northern Graves County and for southern McCracken County. I actually have that red box plotted up there. If you want to pull up Weather 1, you can see that right along the county line. So this is through northern Graves County, southern McCracken. Right now, the strongest part of this is staying just to the south of 24. However, I would be aware if you're in this area. But right here on the southern part of the storm, just off to the west of Cunningham, would be right where we're worried for some rotation. So that's why that tornado warning has been issued. But I do want to pass along another alert, because that storm that we were tracking in southern Illinois, so through Williamson County, if you're in Williamson County, Creel Springs, Crab Orchard, south side of Marion, you want to seek shelter immediately. We were talking about that potential for a brief spin up extremely quickly. Look how fast that happened. We were watching that rotation, and we don't only have a tornado warning on this cell now, but we do have a confirmed observed tornado. So we are watching this area very closely. If you are in southern Williamson County, if you are in northern Johnson County, so if you're in Goreville, you want to seek shelter immediately. Looks like that rotation would likely be moving right along that county line. Let's shift this over to the velocities and see if we can get a better visual on this. Since this does have that observed tornado tag, while I'm doing this, Garrett, did they say what spawned this?
It was that cell that had the possible tornado tag, and I've gone ahead. Can we go ahead and take radar full? I have gone ahead and circled an area of where the debris ball likely, or the debris signature is, considering that this is a tornado or confirmed tornado. Can we please go ahead and take radar full, and I'll go ahead and put a storm track on there for you, so that way we can see exactly how fast the storm moving was, or exactly where the storm is moving. JC, how fast is this tornado moving? 30?
This one is moving to the north and east at about 35.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and put a storm track on that debris ball or debris signature for you. That is going to possibly take it into Nielsen by about, that's going to take it into Nielsen by about 6:50 this afternoon, into Hudgens by about 6:53, Creel Springs by 7:01, and into New Denison by about 7:02. So we are continuing to track this debris signature. This is an observed tornado on the ground. So if you live in southwestern Williamson County, you are going to want to make sure that you are getting into your tornado safe spot. Remember, you want to put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. I'm going to go ahead and pull up that little graphic where you can see that tornado safety. Again, make sure that you are putting as many walls between you and the outside as possible here. We want to make sure that you're getting into the hallway or into a bathroom on the lowest floor of a sturdy building, and making sure that if you can, get to a basement. A basement is the most preferred location to seek shelter. I am going to switch it back to the radar, but overall we are tracking an observed tornado now that is into parts of southwestern Williamson County. I'm not seeing any reports of damage, but it is a confirmed tornado, so we do have that tornado on the ground into parts of southwestern Williamson County here.
Got a really nice hook.
Yes, it does.
On that now.
Yes, now we have a very nice hook into parts of southwestern Williamson County. This is just north of the Goreville area. I know there are a lot of state parks around here. I'm not sure if Fern Cliff State Park is in the path of this storm, but if you know anybody who's camping out there, make sure that you are telling people that they need to go into the nearest substantial shelter, because this is, again, a tornado that is confirmed on the ground. JC?
We are, again, it sounds like we're taking some power hits
yes, we
even
are.
here at the TV station. But yeah, what we are tracking is that observed tornado warning. This is where we would be watching for that area of rotation right along that county line. So if you're in Goreville, that rotation looking like it's going to stay just to the north of you. But if I were in Goreville, I'd probably want to be in my safe place. Better safe than sorry. We are watching that, again, making its way through parts of Williamson County. It is just to the south of Nielsen, so right in the Nielsen area, you want to be seeking shelter. This is moving along Lake of Egypt Road, so it's moving to the north and east at about 35 miles per hour. It's moving towards Creel Springs, and now we do have a considerable tornado tag on this, so you do want to seek shelter immediately with this storm. If you're in the area, if you've heard Lake of Egypt Road, Creel Springs, Saraville Road, Nielsen, you want to be in your safe place right now. Garrett, it looks like you have something.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and just read the text directly from the Weather Service. This is a quote-unquote particularly dangerous situation, tornado warning. This is a particularly dangerous situation. A tornado right now is currently on the ground in southwestern Williamson County, and you are in a life-threatening situation. This is from the Weather Service. This is an extremely dangerous situation. This is one of the higher tier tornado warnings that JC and I can communicate towards you. If you are in Creel Springs, Southern Marion, New Dimension, or into parts of Dreigersburg, make sure that you are taking shelter right now. This is a confirmed tornado that is on the ground. And I'm going to go ahead and switch it over to the debris tracker because it says that it is a radar-confirmed tornado. So we are certainly seeing a little bit of that. It looks like lofted debris there. Can we go ahead and take radar full, please? Real quick, it is just south of the Nielsen area. I'm going to go ahead and circle it for you so that way you can see exactly what we're talking about, and then I'll put a storm track on there for you so that way you can see exactly where we're seeing this lofted debris and where that tornado is. So go ahead and circle that. It is just on the Williamson-Johnson County line right now. So I'm going to go ahead and put a storm track on there so that way if you know anybody down the line, you can go ahead and give them a call or let them know that a tornado is on the ground. And I am going to go ahead and go past this tornado warning or where it is. So again, Creel Springs. If you live in Creel Springs, 6:59 p.m., this could be knocking on your doorstep. Make sure that you are getting to the lowest floor of a sturdy building. Stone Fort, 7-11, Newcastle, 7:15. So these areas are under this tornado warning. This is where that tornado is moving towards. I'm going to go ahead and switch it back to the regular radar and back to the velocity, and then we're going to go ahead and take a quick look at some of the roadways that are in some of the locations that are in the direct path of this. Nielsen, it is right on top of you. If you live near Lake of Egypt Road, Rawls Grove Road, go ahead and get into your tornado shelter. This is coming towards you. South Lake of Egypt Shores Drive, Sulphur Springs Road, near Boundary Road into the Creel Springs area. This is where that tornado is headed. You are going to want to make sure that you are getting into your tornado safe spot. And I can see a picture right now from the Weather Service. This is actually coming from Nick Housen. That is looks like a pretty large tornado on the ground in southwestern Williamson County there.
And that is, again, of course, the storm that we are tracking right now. It has that really nice hook on it. If I were in Marion, I know that parts of Marion are under a severe thunderstorm warning. However, on the back side of these, sometimes we're trying to see multiple areas of rotation spinning up with these. So even if I were in that severe thunderstorm warning in southern and southeastern Marion, I would be seeking shelter. The area that we are watching, you can actually see the red and black lines in this area that we're watching right here. We have a considerable tornado threat, folks. So this is not one that you want to go out and see. You want to seek shelter immediately. It does look like we potentially have a visual on this. It has been confirmed. You can see that hook, almost textbook right there, showing up along the county line. So that's where we would be seeing that rotation right along 37, and it's going to move towards Creel Springs. And if this were to hold together, eventually it would be moving towards Carrier Mills, towards Brushy, and towards Harrisburg. Now, we still have some time. There's not a tornado warning issued for Saline County yet, but if this storm were to hold together, now is your time. If it's going to take you a while to get out of a campsite, or maybe you're outside grilling, wherever you may be, maybe you've got to head to a neighbor's house. If it's going to take you a while, now is the time to head that way, because again, this is a considerable tornado. It is confirmed. We do have those black lines here showing up. Let's see if we can get a visual on that rotation again. It is moving to the east-northeast, again, right towards Creel Springs. So we got some of those reds and greens, of course, showing up. That's where we're seeing that rotation right along the county line. So in Creel Springs, you want to be seeking shelter immediately. Again, going to continue to move to the north and east. We did have just a report a couple of minutes ago of a possible picture. Are we getting any damage reports in that chat, Garrett?
I haven't seen any damage reports. The most recent update from the chat was the picture of the tornado. It does look to be a pretty large tornado that is on the ground in parts of southwestern Williamson County at the moment. Very classic hook echo showing up on radar, and definitely seeing that very tight velocity couplet around the Creel Springs area, that if you live in Creel Springs, you need to be in your tornado safe places right now. I can't emphasize it enough.
Let's zoom in a little bit closer. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to clear away. I know everyone wants to see that warning box, but it may be a little bit clearer to get rid of that warning box. That way we can clear up some of the mess and make it a little bit easier to see this storm making its way through southern Williamson County. We are seeing that very pronounced hook on the south side of this storm, and that is where we are concerned with that rotation. That box still wants to pop up, but that's okay. We'll zoom in close to some of these roads here. Where we're watching right now would be right along Lake of Egypt Road. If you have friends and family along Lake of Egypt Road, very close to, this looks like Market Road and Lake of Egypt Road. You'll want to head to your safe place immediately. I hope you're there already. Illinois 166 moving to the east-northeast towards Creel Springs. Saraville Road, if you are hearing your town name, if you're hearing any roads that you know that you drive down or you live on, you have friends and family there, this storm is to be taken very seriously. It would be moving towards Stone Fort Road, eventually pushing to the north and east towards Dikersburg and towards the Stone Fort area. Right along the county line is where we have been tracking that rotation. We do still have that considerable tag. I believe it is still moving to the east-northeast at about 35. Is that correct, Garrett?
Yes, JC, it's actually moving to the east at about 30 miles per hour,
Okay.
but pretty close. JC, I want you to take a look at the chat and take a look at the pictures that are coming in from southwestern Williamson County. We'll go ahead and take radar 1 here real quick, and I'm going to go ahead and list off some of the streets that are in the path of this possible tornado. Lake of Egypt Road around Creel Springs. If any of this is sounding familiar, I'm going to go ahead and switch it actually over to the velocity mode here, so that way we can see what this storm is looking like right now. And that is a very, very strong signature of rotation right now that is just outside of the Creel Springs area. I bet it is into parts of Creel Springs now. I'm going to go ahead and switch it over to the debris tracker. We're going to take a look at if there's a debris ball right now. Thankfully, it doesn't look apparent right now, so hopefully this tornado is staying over some open area, but you definitely need to make sure that you are getting into your tornado safe places. There are several videos coming in and several pictures coming in of a very large tornado that is on the ground into parts of southwestern Williamson County. Not seeing any lofted debris at the moment, but I can't emphasize this enough. If you are hearing tornado sirens, if you are hearing any sort of alert, if your phone has gone off, you need to be in your tornado safe place right now. There is a very, very large tornado on the ground in parts of southwestern Williamson County. JC? And
like Garrett mentioned, we are getting several pictures and videos coming down from this area. So it is confirmed. This is not radar indicated. This tornado is on the ground right now in southern Williamson County, where we have that considerable tornado threat. Moving right along Lake of Egypt Road, Creel Springs, Saraville Road, Stone Fort, eventually going to be pushing towards Dikersburg Road, towards Dikersburg. And if this rotation were to continue, it would be making its way eventually into parts of Saline County. So this is your early heads up. If you are in Saline County in the Carrier Mills, Harrisburg area, you're not under a warning just yet, but if I were you, I would be watching this pretty closely because this does have a confirmed tornado on the ground through southern Williamson County. Now let's talk about where this rotation is. We talked about Goreville a little bit. We talked about Goreville a little bit earlier. Right now, the strongest area, the area of rotation that we're watching, is now to the north of Goreville, moving just past Nielsen and moving along Lake of Egypt Road towards Creel Springs. Some of the pictures and videos coming out close to Lake of Egypt area, which I would suspect, again, is right in here, are going to be making its way across Illinois 66 towards Saraville Road. So again, head to your safe place immediately. Let's see if we can pull up that rotation again, get a better look at some of those velocities. Not a storm that you want to try to get a visual on. It is certainly a very strong tornado on the ground right now. So here's what we've got going on. Pull up those velocities, those reds and greens. Showing up in southern Williamson County, so through the Creel Springs area, making its way still towards Saraville, up towards Dikersburg. This is the area that we're going to be watching for this tornado-warned storm, moving to the east-northeast at about 35 miles per hour. But what I want to do, I know that we've been watching this extremely closely as it's moving through the heart of our viewing area, but we don't want to neglect the storm. We do still have a tornado warning a little bit further south in parts of McCracken County. So just to the south of Paducah, we do still have this cell, not nearly as strong as what we're seeing further north. But if you're wondering what's going on there, again, just to the south of Paducah, to the north of Simpsonia is where we have another tornado warned storm that we are watching very closely. So if your sirens are going off there, the rotation isn't quite as strong. Of course, that you saw how quick this one up here spun up. It really doesn't take much time. So if you are in those warned storms, if you see a storm popping up, you'll want to watch them very closely. We're still watching all of the activity. Let's talk about this too. Off to the north and west, this is the line. And these are the little cells out ahead of the line. I don't want to say little cells, but they're the cells out ahead of the line. We still have to get through this line, making its way through the area. And you can see just off to our north and west through Randolph and White counties, you've already got tornado warnings right along Interstate 64 and all the way down through Randolph County. So this is what's coming behind what we're seeing right now.
I have permission here to use a photo. I'm trying to figure out which one they are talking about in the chat here. I'm going to ask that real quick. But we do, I'm going to get it to you as fast as I can, but we do have a picture of the tornado in Williamson County right now. I'm going to toss it back over to JC. I'm working on getting a picture up.
Okay, and while Garrett is getting that together, of course, we'll continue to track this storm through southern Williamson County. There's that rotation right over the Creel Springs area. We've got a lot of pictures coming out from southern Williamson County of this tornado. It's going to be pushing to the east-northeast and moving eventually here out of Williamson County and then pushing maybe a little bit further into Saline County. So if you're in Saline County, now is the time to think about heading to your safe place, even though you're not under that tornado warning just yet. Obviously, this storm has produced a very strong tornado. So again, we've gotten a visual on that. Garrett's working on getting that picture up for you all. But right now, watching in that Creel Springs area, we do still have that considerable tag on that cell there. The other thing to note is let's shift this back over towards Van Buren, another cell that we are watching. Looks like we're getting some more reports out of that storm that's a bit further off to our south. We also have a considerable tornado here on this storm that's out near Van Buren. So if you're in Van Buren, this is the one we were tracking initially, starting to work its way in from the west. So you're going to be looking right about here. If you're in Van Buren, you want to be in your safe place immediately. This is moving to the east, so going to be crossing 21 and coming pretty close to Elsinore. This does have an observed tornado on this as well. Again, so if you're downstream, if you're in Elsinore, if you're a little bit further off to the east, you'll want to be seeking shelter with this storm immediately. Let's see if we can pull up the velocities here on this. You can still see some of those reds and greens showing up pretty nicely right over the Van Buren area. So right in here, you've got the reds and greens kind of tightening up in that bright color there. This is working its way towards the east. Garrett, is that still at about 30 to 35 miles per hour?
Which warning?
This is for Carter County down close to Van Buren.
I'll go ahead and check that out for you.
I'll drop a track on.
Believe so, but let me take a quick check at this warning to see exactly what we're looking at. It is moving east at 25 miles per hour.
25.
So it has slowed down a little
So
bit.
it has slowed down a little. So when we're giving you some of those estimates, this is why we talk about when we throw the times up on your screen, you know, give and take a few minutes because these systems do slow down. They speed up at times. So you don't want to take some of these times verbatim in case, you know, they do slow down or they do speed up. They, again, will continue to change speed here and there as we head throughout the evening. So the time frames are kind of just a rough estimate to give you just an idea of when this storm will be making its way into your area. So here we go. This is a look at that velocity down in Carter County near Van Buren. This is the storm, the rotation that we're tracking, moving to the east at about 25 miles per hour. So making its way towards Mill Spring and then towards Elsinore. So making its way towards Elsinore by at least 7:30. Again, these are estimated time frames, so don't take them verbatim. Allow yourself plenty of time to get to where you need to be. Obviously, not the only storm that we are tracking. We still have that storm making its way through parts of Williamson County. That's where we did have that considerable tag. And we're going to zoom back in where we have that tornado warned storm. And still making its way through, again, Williamson County. So the southern portions of Williamson County, right near Creel Springs, working its way to the north and east. Likely the strongest part of this storm going to stay maybe just to the south of Crab Orchard, maybe through the southern portions of Crab Orchard. Still going to be close enough that you want to seek shelter and head to your safe place. However, that rotation looks like it is just a little bit further to the south. Garrett, it does look like we've got our picture up to show you this is what's moving through or was Williamson County.
Yes, that is a very large tornado on the ground right now in southwestern Williamson County. Very large. You can see the well-defined wall cloud there, and then that tornado is extending all the way down to the base. That almost looks like a wedge tornado into parts of southwestern Williamson County. And again, this is a picture of the tornado right now. I'm going to go ahead and toss it back to JC, but we did want to show you what is on the ground right now in southwestern Williamson County.
Yes, that is what we're tracking very close to the Creel Springs area right now. Moving to the north and east, we'll have to see if they are going to decide to continue this warning a little bit further and move it into parts of Saline County. If it does continue, if we do continue to see those reds and greens and that rotation, it would be working its way into Saline County. So if I were in Brushy, if I were in Carrier Mills, even Harrisburg, I would be keeping a very, very close eye on this. Oh, it looks like actually
We did get a new tornado warning.
has just been issued for the Harrisburg area. So that's exactly what we were just talking about. If you are in Harrisburg, this storm does have a history of producing a strong tornado like you saw in that picture. I believe the storm is still moving to the east-northeast at about 35 miles per hour. So we are going to drop a track on this from that area of rotation. I'm going to take it out about an hour. So I'll take it out all the way through Saline County, assuming that this holds together. Here, let me restart this. We've got a radar update. So that rotation has moved just a little bit. So we do want to, again, move that from the most updated region, moving to the east and northeast at roughly 35. So we'll take this out almost an hour. This is going to be making its way towards Carrier Mills within the next 20 minutes. I'd say even the next 15 minutes. You'll want to seek shelter immediately. Independence, Cottage, Horseshoe, Kendron, Harrisburg. If you see or have heard your town name called out, you do want to be seeking shelter immediately. We have seen that confirmed tornado on the ground in southern Williamson County. So watching that very, very closely. We've been tracking this storm quite a bit, pretty heavily since we did have that, again, confirmed tornado. But I don't necessarily want to forget about what's going on a bit further to our north and west especially, because this is the line that's trying to form, and then it's going to be working its way to the east-southeast into our area. And along that line, I mean, you can see almost blanket tornado warnings along this line, because you'll see those brief spin-up tornadoes within this line. So watching these extremely closely tonight. It does look like maybe we have a new tornado warning that has been issued a little bit further to the south through parts of Madison County. That's from that storm that we were watching making its way through the Lesterville area. We did talk about 12 Mile maybe being in the path of this storm. Here it is, again, making its way towards 12 Mile. If you are in southern Madison County, you do want to seek shelter immediately. It does look like we have another severe thunderstorm warning that has been issued. Garrett?
So if we can go ahead and take a radar full. So we have a new severe thunderstorm warning until 8:15. So this warning was issued preemptively because the storms are still out of our region right now, but we are seeing that line start to knock on our westernmost doorstep. So we do have a we do have a new severe thunderstorm warning for Franklin, Jackson, Jefferson, and Perry counties. Not only are we tracking the possibility of a tornado briefly spinning up within this line, you can see that big red polygon further off towards the north. We also are tracking the potential for 70-mile-per-hour winds. So these winds are going to be very strong within this line. This is what we've been talking about. We talked about it on the 5, and we talked about it this morning. This is the line that we're talking about with the potential for damaging winds in excess of 70 to 80 miles per hour, perhaps even greater than 80 miles per hour. But we'll see if that does come to fruition. But certainly right now, the hazard is for 70-mile-per-hour winds. So this should be treated like you would treat a tornado, because not only is it producing the potential for a tornado, but also the potential for some damaging straight line winds. Now I'm going to go ahead and clear this warning box off here, and we're going to take a quick check here at the velocity. And this storm is moving towards the south and towards the east at about towards the east rather, at about 60 miles per hour. So this is moving extremely fast, and we may even see that storm move even faster than that. So I'm going to go ahead and switch it over to velocity here for just a second so that we can see exactly where those stronger winds are. So again, if you're hearing those tornado sirens across Harrisburg and southwestern Williamson County, and you're in that tornado warning, this is not it. You can see those heavier velocities right now just north and west of Sparta. And I'm going to go ahead and query some of these so that we can see exactly what kinds of velocities we are dealing with here in terms of wind gusts. And again, this is estimated by Doppler radar, so it may not be making it all the way to the south. There we go, 70-mile-per-hour winds, 76-mile-per-hour winds, 47-mile-per-hour winds possibly, 64, 66. So a lot of 60 to 70 mile per hour wind gusts within this line. And I am going to go ahead and put a storm track on it. This does not show any signs of weakening as it tracks off towards the south and towards the east. So I'm going to go ahead and switch it back to the regular radar that you're used to seeing. And we're going to switch off the velocity mode and take a more zoomed out look here at the storm. So again, we do still have several supercell thunderstorms that are currently right now working their way through Williamson County, but the line is still just off towards our north and towards our west. Again, we're talking about the potential for 70 mile per hour winds, and these storms are moving extremely fast at about 60 miles per hour. So I'm going to go ahead and draw a storm track here along this line and drag it out. Again, not really seeing this storm weaken by any means. So, Centralia, you are going to be seeing that storm possibly by about 7:10. So it's right about on top of you right now. That is outside of our viewing area. DuQuoin possibly seeing that by about 7:23. Mount Vernon by 7:28. 7:36 by into Murfreesboro. Carbondale, you're not included in this warning. We could see that by as early as 7:42, and then into Marion by about 8 o'clock this evening. But again, we still have several hours of this. We will see how this storm system evolves. It may slow down or it may speed up. Regardless, down the line, we are tracking the potential for some very widespread damaging winds. They're not here yet, but they are just on our western doorstep. So in addition to the tornado that we have seen on the ground, we are tracking damaging straight line winds. JC?
And then we are still watching that tornado warning that's making its way through parts of Carter County, right over Van Buren. Really nice velocities here. It's moving to the east, so going to be moving really close to Elsinore. Rough estimate on some of those time frames, but we've also had some reports of pretty large hail. If I clear this away and I do pull up the hail tracker on this particular storm, again, it is very impressive. So look at these really, really dark blues showing up. We'll query some of these and see how large. So we're talking about an inch to an inch and a half when it comes to this hail size making its way through the Van Buren area. And it's going to be moving right along US Highway 60 and pushing through that northern portion of Carter County, so making its way towards Elsinore. So if you are in Elsinore, I would be wanting to seek shelter now out ahead of this storm. We really haven't seen a whole lot of weakening. We do still have that considerable tag on that tornado warning extending from about Van Buren all the way through Elsinore. We'll pop that box up on there, make it a little bit easier to kind of digest. Here we go. That tornado warning for Carter County, it has been observed and it is in place until 8 p.m. So watching that extremely closely. Let's go ahead and check back in on that storm that's a little bit further off to the east across southern Illinois. Obviously, that's another area where we have a confirmed tornado, or we did have a confirmed tornado with that cell. We've got a tornado warning that is extending now through Harrisburg. So we're talking about near the Stoneford area, Independence, Harrisburg, and if it were to continue, we're talking about eventually heading towards Equality. If you are in this area, you want to seek shelter immediately. Let's pull up those velocities and see if we can see those reds and greens, and we still can. So I'm going to throw another track on this for you. Right over the Carrier Mills area, Carrier Mills and Newcastle, you want to be in your safe place. So right now, moving right along 45 towards Liberty Road. So that is on the south side of Harrisburg, moving towards Liberty Road through Carrier Mills. If you were on the south side of Harrisburg, or if you're in Harrisburg, you will want to seek shelter. If you're in Independence, it looks like this rotation is going to move kind of right in between. So on the south side of Harrisburg, on the north side of Independence, and it will be moving across 145. So let's drop a track here. From this rotation, they are moving off to the east-northeast, about 30 to 35. Here's a rough estimate on some of those time frames again. If you see your town, if you've heard your street called out, this is something that you want to take very seriously. We had those pictures of this tornado when it was on the ground in Williamson County. Garrett, do you have that picture so readily easily
Yeah, we can go ahead
available?
and show you the photo that we saw from Williamson County. There we go. You can go ahead and take a radar full here real quick. There's that very large tornado on the ground. It looked like it was at one point maybe a wedge or a stovepipe type tornado, so very strong for sure. Very well developed wall cloud. Very, very strong tornado there in southern Williamson County on the ground moments ago. Thankfully, we've seen that considerable tag dropped, but this was moments ago in southern Williamson County.
And when we've been watching these storms, and especially, throughout this morning as well, is these storms will kind of twist up really quickly, and you'll get that warning, that really tight rotation. It'll loosen and it will tighten up yet again. So don't let your guard down just because there's not a considerable tag on here. We'd be watching this rotation right here, and it would be moving along 45 into the east-northeast, roughly between Harrisburg and Independence. If you're in Harrisburg, if you're in Independence, you want to be seeking shelter there immediately. It does look like we have yet another warning that has been issued just a little bit further off to the east. Now, this one does not have a tornado warning on it, but what it does have is it has a tornado possible tag on it. So remember, this is how that Williamson County storm started, right? It was a severe thunderstorm warning. We saw the tag, and then we saw the tornado warning, then the considerable tag, because these spin up extremely quickly. So it is something to be watched. The strongest part of this storm moving past the Eagle Creek. It's going to move very close to Shawneetown. You're probably hearing lots of thunder and lightning. The rotation would likely be just slightly further to the south with this. However, we do need to watch this very closely as it makes its way through Gallatin County and then off to the east. Garrett, it looked like you had something there a second ago.
Yeah, we don't have a warning on this storm, but there is a storm that has kind of gotten a little bit more organized, and this is exactly how the Williamson County storm started. So we are seeing an area of rotation, again, not warned on just yet. No severe thunderstorm warning, certainly no tornado warning, but I want to draw your attention to the velocity mode just south of the Grand Tower area. We've seen this couplet sort of develop over the last couple of scans. And really start to rotate here. So it doesn't look overly impressive right now, but we certainly have seen these tornadoes spin up very, very fast over the last the last hour here. So certainly make sure that if you live near the Grand Tower or in southern Jackson County or northern Union County, just be on the alert that we could see this storm start to evolve. This is what we're concerned with right here, this rotation right here where those reds and greens are touching. Again, not overly strong just yet, but it is something that we're certainly going to have to keep an eye on. I will go ahead and put a storm track on there, assuming that this is moving at about 35 miles per hour like the other storms have been moving at. So I'll go ahead and switch over to the storm track so that way we can see exactly where the storm is moving off towards the east, northeast at about 35 miles per hour. So possibly if we do see a tornado warning or a severe thunderstorm warning, we could see places like Panoma impacted by about 7:33, Macanda by 7:49, possibly Carbondale by 7:49. So it is something that we're going to have to keep watching here. But that is something that I wanted to draw to the viewers' attention, that we're not out of the woods yet. We are seeing another storm start to get a little bit more organized in southwestern Jackson County and then into parts of Perry County in southern Illinois.
And then we are still watching, there are so many storms going on here, so we are still watching a storm that is moving pretty close to the Paducah area, just off to the south and east. We do have a new tornado warning along that storm. Reedland, Calvert City, and just to the south of Dykesburg are all included in this new tornado warning. Now, this does not have a considerable tag on it. However, like we've seen, we can certainly see tornadoes spin up very quickly out of this. So we do have a new tornado warning that is in place for Livingston, Lyon, and Marshall counties right now. This is radar indicated. It goes until 8 p.m. But that area that we would be watching is down here close to Reedland. So if you're in Reedland, you want to be seeking shelter immediately. It'd be moving directly towards Calvert City. If you are in Calvert City, again, head to your safe place right along. It looks like Purchase Parkway North. It looks like it'll be traveling very closely also to Interstate 24. So Interstate 24 down in Livingston, Lyon, and Marshall counties. We've got that rotation showing up just to the south of Reedland. We've got some of those reds and greens. This is moving to the east-northeast at about 35 miles per hour. And let's check back in with that storm a little bit further off to our west. That rotation so far has still kind of looked the strongest to me, at least as of late. That one that's making its way through parts of Carter and Ripley counties, making its way very close to the Van Buren area, impacting Carter County, again moving towards Elsinore. So right along US Highway 60 is where we are watching that very tight rotation showing up. You got some of those reds and greens, even some blues showing up there. Now just off to the east of Van Buren, moving into Elsinore. Now it looks like we have another considerable tag on that storm back in Saline County. Garrett, you've already got it pulled up. Let's head over there and check that out, because now it looks like we've got another confirmed tornado.
So as JC and I were talking about, these storms, they can really spin up and put down a tornado really fast. We've seen that in Williamson County. We very quickly saw it transition from no warning to severe thunderstorm warning to tornado with a confirmed tornado on the ground. So we have seen this upgraded to a particularly dangerous situation in a considerable tag. So I'm going to go ahead and look at this. So a tornado warning remains in effect for southern Saline County until about, it looks like until, JC, when does this warning expire?
This new warning goes, let's see here, until 8 p.m.
Okay, until 8 p.m. A confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado was located over Carrier Mills, moving east at about 30 miles per hour. So this is another damaging tornado that's on the ground that the Weather Service is calling a particularly dangerous situation. I'm going to go ahead and switch it over to the velocity mode so that way we can see exactly what we're looking at within this storm here. We'll go ahead and check that out. Definitely looks like it has tightened up quite a bit over the last couple of scans. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in on where we're seeing that rotation. This is just south of the Harrisburg area. But if you're on the south side of Harrisburg, get to that tornado safe spot right now. If you're not already in the tornado safe spot right now, it's going to be moving very close to Independence, near Pinckneyville, and then into parts of Mountain. And I'm going to go ahead. This area of rotation is very close to Walnut Grove Road, near Pearson Hill Road, Whitesville Road. If you live, and if any of these street names sound familiar, please make sure that you are getting into your tornado safe spaces along State Route 145 on the south side of Harrisburg. This is where that confirmed tornado is moving. And I'm going to go ahead and circle it and then put a storm track on it just so that way you can see exactly what we're talking about and where this is moving, because this is now a tornado once again that has tightened back up and is producing a tornado. So I'm going to go ahead.
Garrett, while you're going ahead and putting that together, when you're while you're tracking that, I'm going to have our directors pull up some video that they said they have in the back.
Oh my God! Colin, calm down.
So this was actually sent in. This is when that storm was in southern Williamson County. Very impressive storm there. So again, if you are in Independence or in the Harrisburg area, I mean, we have had a confirmed and a large tornado on the ground from this cell. So this does need to be taken extremely seriously. It looks like, Garrett, you do have that track up for us.
Wow, that is some pretty impressive footage there of a tornado on the ground. That is what we see in meteorology school when we're talking about strong tornadoes. So this storm has now produced another likely strong tornado like you have seen on our show here. We are tracking the potential for that tornado to move into the mountain area by 7:35, Cottage by 7:37, into Equality by 7:45. Now, Equality, you're not included in this tornado warning, but I want you to go ahead and get into that tornado safe spot, because we have seen this storm cycle and put down multiple large tornadoes. This is going to be moving into Lawlor by about 7:49. I cannot emphasize it enough. Interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building, away from windows, and you want to make sure that if you have a basement, please get into that basement if you can, because we are keeping a very close eye on this large tornado that is on the ground. I've circled where it is. I am going to go ahead and hop back onto the debris tracker just to take a look at if we're seeing any lofted debris right now. Hopefully this is staying over mostly rural areas right now, but we'll definitely make sure to check out the debris signature here. It doesn't look like there's anything too apparent in terms of a debris signature right now, but there is definitely a tornado on the ground based on that velocity scan. So I'll go ahead and turn that windshield off. Again, not seeing a debris signature right now, but it could be moving through the area around Independence and around Carrier Mills. This is eventually going to move into eastern Saline County. JC, do you have
I'm actually working on throwing a track here on this same storm again, dragging it out from that area of rotation that is near Carrier Mills on the south side of Harrisburg. Since we do have, again, that confirmed warning, we'll just kind of pull up another track here, and hopefully we can give our friends out ahead of this warning a little bit of a heads up when it comes to some of those times. Those reds and greens very close to Carrier Mills, moving to the east northeast at approximately 30 miles per hour. I'm actually going to take this out a little bit further to about 45 minutes from this area of rotation. That way it picks up some of those town names that are not in that warning just yet, because like we were talking about earlier when this was in Williamson County, we were talking about it maybe making its way into Saline County, and it certainly did. So it would likely continue into Gallatin County. So if you are in Cottage, Horseshoe, Equality, Ridgeway, Shawneetown, this is a storm that you want to be watching very closely. That rotation extremely close to the Independence area right now. So moving to the east northeast at about 30 miles per hour. So we're going to continue to watch this storm really close. It has produced a tornado on the ground through parts of Williamson County. And here, this is actually a new warning popping out ahead of the other warning. You can see some of those bright colors showing up there in southern Gallatin County. Right now, this is just to the south of Shawneetown. So just to the south of Shawneetown, here's a better view of some of these reds and greens. We've got a new tornado warning that has been issued for southern Gallatin County. And here's that rotation just to the south of Shawneetown and just on the eastern side of Eagle Creek. This storm also moving to the east-northeast at about 35. So honestly, here in a couple of minutes, it's going to be crossing out of Gallatin County and then into parts of Kentucky. However, again, we do now have a tornado warning. Garrett?
One thing that I wanted to emphasize with this new tornado warning, can we go ahead and take radar full here really quick, and then I'll send it back over to JC. But one thing I do want to point out is that this is an entirely different storm. This is not the tornado warning that we've been tracking in Harrisburg. You're still under the gun for that particularly dangerous situation with a confirmed tornado on the ground. This is an entirely new storm that has developed. We are still seeing several storms back towards the west. One of them is now into parts of central Williamson County, not seeing any active warnings. And then we're also seeing another storm that does look to be getting a little bit more organized around the Carbondale area. I am going to go ahead and just check out velocities here. Again, no tornado warnings with these storms, but we've seen how fast these storms have spun up. And it does look like we're seeing a little bit of rotation just south of the Panoma area, and this is eventually going to track off towards the east. We are seeing a little bit of very broad rotation in southern Williamson County. Again, not immediately concerned, but definitely going to have to keep a very close eye on that. But I am definitely concerned about this storm here in southern Jackson County. We also have a new severe thunderstorm warning that was issued. JC, did you have something?
We actually have a new tornado warning that has been extended through parts of southeastern Missouri. So that rotation that we've been tracking making its way through Carter County. You got these reds. These reds and greens showing up right there near Elsinore, right over Elsinore. This tornado warning has now been extended further east. This is another one of the storms where we did have a confirmed tornado on the ground. So this is another one that you just want to take extremely seriously. That rotation very close to the Elsinore area. And it will be moving into southern Wayne County. So it'll be moving very close here to look like, it looks like this is 49, Highway 49, and then it'll be moving through northern Butler County. So likely going to stay just to the north of Poplar Bluff. Poplar Bluff, are you out of the woods? No. But watching that close, and unfortunately, these are some of the areas that were already hit earlier today. So I know a lot of folks are maybe dealing with some power outages from some of those straight line winds earlier, which makes it so much more important to have multiple ways to get alerts as the second round is coming through the region. The other thing to note is even as we're seeing some of these tornado warnings pop out ahead of this line, and maybe your tornado warning has expired. Maybe you're in Williamson County and you think it's over. It's not over yet. We are watching this entire line. You can see the severe thunderstorm warnings out ahead of this line. We are expecting a very strong line of storms to form. It's already extending from about Jefferson County down through Perry County into Jackson, all the way back into parts of southeastern Missouri. This is going to form a line and likely bow out and make its way through the region, and maybe we'll be tracking some very strong straight line winds. So we're talking about 75 to 80 mile per hour winds. It doesn't take a tornado to cause significant damage. The straight line winds are very powerful, can uproot trees. We saw some of that this morning, and again, cause power outages, cause damage to homes. So until this line completely makes its way through your area, you are not in the clear. So make sure you are staying weather aware until this line makes its way through you. Garrett, looks like you are still keeping a pretty close eye on that little storm that's trying to get going there in Jackson County.
Yeah, can we actually go ahead and take the Vide 2 in Carbondale real quick so we can see what's going on live across Carbondale right now? We are seeing some pretty heavy rain and some pretty dark skies. This is what is outside right now across parts of Carbondale. Again, not seeing anything too active, and we're not seeing any warnings with this storm just yet, but it has gotten a little bit more organized and it's trying to get its act together. We'll see if it has enough instability to work with to form a severe storm, because we are tracking those two supercells that have really raked over the atmosphere in parts of Williamson County. However, this atmosphere is extremely volatile. Can we actually switch it over to Vide 3 and take a quick look outside the station to see what's going on? So we're seeing a lot of rain in Carbondale, but this is looking due west towards Carbondale. This is on top of the station. Very dark and ominous skies for sure, but no rain. Traffic is still flowing out there on State Route 13. But can we go ahead and take it back to radar full here real quick? Again, these are the two storms that we're keeping an eye on. They are not warned on just yet, but we have started to see one storm in particular, the one that is just towards the south and towards the west of the Carbondale area, start to rotate a little bit. Now, no tornado warning just yet, but it is starting to rotate, and we're also seeing that rotation just into southwestern Williamson County.